Welcome back, and this is just a game I wanted to show because this is why you never give up in chess. I made a huge blunder and I was under the gun. Despite being white, I found myself in quite a precarious situation and just getting pushed around on the chessboard. And but you never give up in chess because there's always a move waiting for you if you have the wisdom to find it. Anyway, so let's check this out. I decided to open with the Queen's Gambit, sort of again. It's kind of like just something I've been exploring lately. I kind of like it. He doesn't take the bait, of course. He probably knows better. So we're just developing a few pieces here. He's castling early, which is fine. So I'm gonna, now that he's got this pawn here, I'm gonna kind of push this girl over here and kind of develop this, this weak pawn. If I can get this knight out of the way by pushing this pawn up. All that would be nice, in my mind's eye. Already he's good. I can see this pawn is going to come forward. He's going to break up this power that I have in the middle, and here I go with my queen to kind of get that line on the check. If I can get the knight out of there, um, he blocks that, so now I can abandon that plan, just go ahead and castle and start working on moving this pawn up if I can. But so he attacks right away, and this is kind of undermining my power structure now. So I'm going to go ahead and take his center pawn. So at least I've got that going for me. And so he takes me back. I've moved my rook to kind of start pushing my pawn. And here now, this is uncomfortable. This is what I didn't want to happen. Now I've got to do something with this bishop, and maybe I could have moved here, but I kind of went all the way back thinking I could push this pawn forward and then move the bishop out this way and kind of have a little sneak attack, but that's not going to happen unless his bishop, moves off of that square. But now he attacks the queen. So again, I'm under threat now. He's black, I'm white. I'm supposed to be doing this to him, but I'm completely on guard now. So he's forcing me to move in ways that I don't want to move, which is a great tactic always, right? So I'm moving my queen back because I still want my queen to come out in this direction. The king's over here. I want her to play chess. He moves the knight forward. I'm moving this pawn to keep his knight from, obviously coming down there. Don't want that happening. He's moving this pawn forward. He's going to, march this guy down here and just start giving me trouble. So I do what sometimes I usually don't do, which is move my knight to the edge here because his sphere of influence is smaller whenever a knight is on the edge. But I'm going against my own tactic here and kind of just looking for a way to maybe attack this pawn, or maybe I'll move here if I can. Of course, the bishop's right there, but don't have a whole lot of options. So now he's protecting that pawn. The queen was protecting it anyway. So it was kind of just a bum move. So now I'm thinking, all right, let me get my pawn down here and disrupt his king a little bit if I can. But he meets that challenge very quickly, neutralizes it. Now I've moved my knight down here to try to gain some, just some attention to the king, and I need to start somehow planning an attack here. So get this knight down here, see what it can be done. Right now, nothing, but at least it looks fierce, and maybe if I can get some support pieces down there, he can do something. So now he's attacking my knight. I move there. It's really the only recourse, clearly. He moves there, so yes, I'll take. He takes with his knight. This was a blunder. I should never have done this. I didn't realize the queen was here, but sometimes you're under pressure or you don't see things clearly until after you make the move. And that was the case in here, so naturally. So now he's totally ahead. He's got my rook. He's a major piece ahead. I'm just in a terrible, terrible situation here. So, but, I'm of the opinion you always fight if your king is safe, you can always fight and then at least try to get something going. So here I'm going to apply a little pressure on this knight. This knight can't move now, clearly, because the queen would be in jeopardy. So at least I can buy a little time here. So he moves the queen out of the way, so that's no longer pinned. Now I'm moving this pawn up, which is what I wanted to do from the very beginning of the game. And so he takes it. Of course, I take with my knight to get my knight out of dodge. And, at least here, if he takes with the bishop, then, I take back with my knight, he takes with his knight, and then at the end of the day, I have the final say-so with my rook. So I feel pretty good about that move. He moves his queen here, which was a huge blunder on his part. Can you see it? Can you see what I'm going to do next? So my next move when he did that was very clear. I saw it immediately. Of course, I'm going to put him in check with my knight. And not only is he in check, it forks the queen. So he's going to lose his queen as soon as he moves his king. He has to move the king. He can't take the knight. Terrible blunder on his part. So naturally, I grab the queen. Of course, he grabs my knight. So it's not completely free, but come on. Now the game is kind of looking up. Now I have something to play for. Now it's become of interest again instead of a throwaway game. So I move my queen here to start playing some chess to attack his knight. My queen is getting closer to his king, which I always like. I mentioned that in the last YouTube video I made. And, I'm attacking his knight, so now he's got to do something, right? So he moves his knight back. I hate that move because it's a strong move, and his knight does a lot in that position, but oh well, so I go ahead and take that pawn. It's a free piece, and it gets this bishop developed. She was doing nothing over here, now she or he, whatever you want to say, now it's developed, and now it's putting pressure on this piece a little bit, and I'm going to do something a little bit unorthodox. He takes my pawn there, but yeah, so be it. I'm not too concerned about that. I'm going to attack his rook just as a way to get the rook out of here, or to force him to move. At this point, I need to develop this piece anyway. So yeah, attack the rook. He moves the rook here. I go ahead and take. This is pretty unorthodox because I'm taking a pawn here. Yeah, I'm going to be trading two pieces for one rook, but considering that I have a rook, and if I can have a queen and a rook, and he's only got one rook, I'll go ahead and lose two pieces for that. I'm down with that. In my mathematical chess mind, that to me is a working advantage for me. So he thinks it is too, apparently, because he decided not to take that knight. So I go ahead and make this move, which is pretty brilliant because not only am I attacking his rook, if he moves his rook, I've got a free bishop, right? And the rook can't really protect the bishop here or here because the queen is guarding those squares. So that was really a great move, and he kind of thought about that for a while and decided to move his rook down here. I don't know what that was all about. Maybe he could have done something, but you never can question your opponent's motives too much. So I go ahead and take that free piece. Thank you very much. So now he goes there. Now he's attacking both these bishop. Whichever one I move, I lose the other one. That's kind of the idea behind that move. And you have to watch for that with rooks. That's why they're so damn powerful. So I move my queen up here to go ahead and protect that bishop. Yeah, I could have done some other things, but again, time is of the essence. He goes to attack this bishop. I go ahead and just move. I'm going to sacrifice that bishop and just move my knight here because I have some things I think I can accomplish, in the future here. So, yeah, of course he's going to take that free piece. Why wouldn't you? And here we're just maneuvering for position a little bit. I go ahead and take that. I don't care at this point if he. Knights are so powerful to me because they have all these hidden. Their moves are hidden. You have to. They're so sneaky knights, right? So generally, I will trade a bishop for a knight at any point in the game. That's just my philosophy. Bishops have to stay on their own color anyway. So to me, that's just a weak. It's weak unless you're at the very end of the game where a bishop can move many spots at once because there's no pieces on the board. So here I go ahead and check. He's moving there. I move back to protect the king and I don't want this bishop coming down and causing me any stress, especially, if, well, I did eliminate the other bishop there. This was a mistake because, again, this is what I mean by sneaky moves, right? My knight's sitting here. He goes up and doubles up his rooks, but just by putting him in check right here, I'm forking the rook. And so he's going to lose that rook, just like he lost his queen earlier. Yeah, you can move it, but of course I'm going to take it naturally. So now I've got a rook and a queen just to his rook and bishop. Clearly, I'm way ahead in this game at this point. My king is falling, taking a nap over here, and his king is under duress. So my thing now is go ahead and push this pawn to the end, right? To get another queen, right? Or rook or whatever I want. And the first move is going to attack his rook and force him to move anyway. So he moves here. Uh, I move here. It's protected. And at this point in the game, he resigns, wisely so, because it's just, you can prolong the inevitable, but this is pretty clear that my priority is going to be getting this pawn to the pass pawn, I like to call him, to the end. And and then it's going to be lights out, game over. Anyway, thanks for watching. Uh, Never give up in a game of chess. You can always, sometimes you can always find a move, or even if you're down, if you have enough pieces, if you can get that king under duress, make him sweat, you can win a game when even you. I was a major piece down, and he was threatening me all over the board. I had no position. Wow, wow.